How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
I'm also doing good.
Okay.
Tell me something brief about yourself.
Uh, of course, my name is Alhaji Issah Inusah, but as we all growing up playing football, um, we kind of have nicknames.
Yeah.
So I'll be nicknamed Issah Alhasa. So it's more popular. But then my actual name is Alhaji Issah Inusah. The
So
Alhaji is actually a title that you've been to
yeah,
Hajj.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you'll be, titled to
Yeah.
be called Alhaji. My name is actually Issah Inusah. So I was actually, people didn't even know, I was actually born and raised right here at Sabunzongo.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was actually born and raised right here at Sabunzongo, where I was very proud of, a son of a trotro driver, which I'm very, very proud of my father. That introduction has to be open first.
Yeah.
So growing up as a young kid, playing courts, I started from Padua, right here at Bubuash. So from Padua in the early, basically mid 70s. So that was years before soccer missionaries was even brought into being. So I was a soccer football player, and I played for the then Padua. And then I made my way to Kinarison, then to Assad Babies, and then finally back to Great Corinthians, which were actually right around here, Salvation area. So basically that's how my football career started as a coach player.
Okay. And you didn't get the opportunity to play professional football?
Yes, sir. From there on, as all of us growing up together with, young players like, the names of Maestro Abedi Ayu Pele.
Yeah.
We all had the opportunity to go to Achimota Green Hill, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I stayed there briefly for about 6 months, when we were all sent there, through a scholarship.
Oh, okay.
With, I think it was Abedi Pele. I have an older brother who was a goalkeeper, and then Abu Moru, late Abu Moru, who has passed me. His soul rest in peace. And then we have Sarkodie, who has also played for Accra Great Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And then one defender, very, very humble defender, I call him Popodi, which we all call him Popodi. Now I think he resides around Dakuma area.
Oh, okay.
So we see each other once in a while. And so, and then, now we all friends that I call him Buddy.
Yeah.
That's so that's how we all grew up from coast and then playing through. And then I was in school one day when we had to play. I think one of the teams I was around Kaneshi playing. I mean that was commercial. That's where I went to school. Even though I've gone through school here, Ebenezer, and then while I was at Kaneshi, I had the call with the vehicle that Nana, I have gone through my 3rd division those times.
Oh, okay.
Before late Nana Yanzu Aka Blemeza called on me. I was in school, in my school uniform, when actually they pulled me to secondary, where I joined the secondary 11 Wise.
Oh, okay.
So I played Akarakachi those times, and then briefly, there come a time when after a year or so, year and a half, and Blemeza decided he wants to quit and get out of the system from secondary level. So those players that he came with decided, you know what, I brought you guys, you got to go back to Accra with me alongside. He was very close to me at the time.
Oh, okay.
I'm very, 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 very close to late Blemeza, who within that period of time has taught me a lot, including business. So I was very close to him, so his soul rest in peace. And from that time on, I moved when I came back to Accra, then I have no other choice but to find a club. So, we have friends because we all mingle. It was one day I was walking from, was jogging actually from Kaneshi, and former Accra House of Folk player, Jonathan Kwadade.
Okay.
Yeah, spotted me and said, hey, Issah, I heard your stories from secondary. Blemeza has resigned from secondary 11Y, so you have to find a club. I said, yeah, so I'm here. So he just said, look, man, all of us from Accra House of Folk are now moving to other clubs. So would you please join us to play for Accra Stamford? I said, oh, look, man, I have no issues. I just want to play football. Yeah, so I joined them. I came to Accra Stamford, and, you know, from that time on, while I was at the stadium, there come Standard Chartered Bank with their vehicle waiting for me while I finished registering for Accra Stamford. Don't forget those times, it was all banks.
Yeah.
So I have to play also in the All Banks League. So that's when I came in to play in the All Banks League. And I have my coach at the time was Abeka Ankra, who we all call White Warrior, a former Accra House of Folk also, and a national team player. You know, so that's how everything started. So I played for Accra Stamford, you know, then I stayed with the banks and played in the All Banks League for pretty much about 5, 6 years before finding my other excitement place in the States. When I called for a leave, I was granted leave for 3 months. I made my way to the United States, and that's how everything just went on. I was actually, people didn't realize that the person that they see today is actually so humble, because I was actually once on the streets of New York, living off garbage containers. I eat from garbage containers that we all see. We put bola in the, you know, you pick up food, people left over, just drop it in, I pick it up and eat it because I have no other choice, because I was on the streets, you know, and I've been on the street for about 9 days with no food, no nothing, not even a shower. So I have to endure this. So one time I think I was just trying to survive when I saw a club training, you know, so, you know, with a fenced, covered mini stadium, and being a football player, you see something that you
You'll
love.
definitely be interested.
You'll be interested. So I went behind the pole and they play the ball, go over the pole. I pick up the ball and just juggle along, you know, with the ball, and then by the time you know it, the coach was watching me, he was paying attention. I guess they kept playing more and more balls behind the pole, and while, you know, I pick up a ball and I start jogging with it, and then, you know, he called me. If we can, he said, hey, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Ghana, actually. So, wow, then quickly said, you know Abedi Pele? I said, oh, wow, great. One of the.
At what age was this?
I mean, I would say pretty much in the early to late 20s.
Okay.
She was late 20s, basically about 26, 27 years old at the time, when, you know, our career would have still been in the, you know, basically, but unfortunately, I decided to pave my way to the United States. I actually have the opportunity to join the Black Stars at the time when Koblen Yeboah, I remember, you know, after I've joined Kosovo, and I played for Kosovo in the Super League in New York. I played for Kosovo. And then they kept calling me to join the national team. I kept refusing because at the time I wanted to play for United States and play in the World Cup of 1994. So I wanted to play 94 World Cup for United States. And then boom, you know, during one of our games I got injured, and, you know, a knee injury, and that really sidelined me for a while, and I couldn't survive. But I always have that passion for football. So, you know, once in a while I get myself involved. And then I think we play also Lions. I remember I played Lions with late Alhaji Ibrahim Tete in New Jersey, even though we know each other from Ghana, but yet we play the Lions together. I play Lions with late Alhaji Ibrahim Tete. May his soul also rest in peace. He's such a great, great human being.
Was that how you met him?
Oh, no, we actually know each other from Ghana before we went to the States. So when he got to know I was in the country, that was when he pulled me in to come and join his forces in Jersey to play for the Lions. So I played Lions with Sly for a brief
Okay, so but at what point did the decision to set up Liberty Professional start?
Oh, to start out the Liberty Professionals, I think it was myself and late Sly Tete, decided to come down to Ghana, and we decided to come to Ghana for a visit, just vacationing. That was around 1990, I believe it was 1992 there. Yes, it was around 1992. So we came down and we stayed, we overstayed actually about a year and change, a year and a half. And Sly decided he's not going back. I said, Sly, look, we have to go back. You know, it's time to go back. Sly said, no, look, man, I just want to, you know, form a club. So by him saying that, kept trying to convince him. His mom, we're very close with both of our parents.
Oh, okay.
My parents and his parents, because of just the two of us, you know, bring those families together.
More of a
family,
yeah.
You know. So we did that, and Sly decided, okay, he's staying, you can go, because me and him, we have that kind of close relationship. Actually, we can share to that extreme of underwears. We share the same underwears together. Wow. We can share the same thing. We do everything together. We sleep in the same bed. You know, so when he decided he wanted to join, you know, form a club, you know, I said, cool. So I went back to the States, and he was here. People think late Sly Tete got everything on the silver platter. No. Sly and myself, while we were in Ghana, we used to drive our own taxi, and we have, you know, a baseball hat covered our faces, and we working Akratema. We pick up passengers. We did that. Nobody knew that because we didn't have anything. We were broke, but we know we could survive with our car that we have. At the time, I have a Mitsubishi Galant. So we were doing it just to survive. And slowly but surely, Sly kept emphasizing that he has to get this team going. So when I went back, one day I was there, he gave me a call that, yo, we can find a club. If you have some change that you can send, you know what the situation is here in Ghana. So if you can send some change. I said, Sly, are you sure you can do this? Sly said, look, man, we can do it. So I said, okay, no problem. Well, how much? It was not really a big money, but I could remember it was a couple of $1,000 that he said I should send. He can purchase the club. So he did that. I sent him the money. And the next thing, it was the next day or so, 2 days later, he called me to confirm that he has got in the club. And that was at the time, I believe, was Ochimai. It was Ochimai, it was not Liberty. So we wanted to, so when he got the club, he was now doing his own little movement. So every week I have to make sure they survive, making sure that he got money in his pocket.
So you were more of the investor of
well, I can't say that because I didn't sign any contract with late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete. We are not friends. We are like brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
We are beyond friends, okay? And to this day, I'm very close with his family, kids also. And I run the whole, his estates, and until I, you know, decided to make sure they have it. They all grown now. When he left me, it was those two, Na and Ni, were at Legon.
Okay.
So I have to make sure I run back and forth and make sure I take care of those kids and until they get on their feet to be able to get their stuff out. And everything that took place at the court, I was the one that audited the whole thing meaning his passing. So back to the club. So now I came down to Ghana after he had purchased
Liberty.
Not Liberty, it was Ochima.
Yeah.
It was not Liberty at the time. So I came down and we decided what name we should name the club. And we started debating on, he wanted us to use Sly, meaning Issah Sly FC. And I said, Sly, no, that don't make no sense. Why do you have to use our names? Because both me and Sly, we are not social media people. We don't really
Yeah,
like
in those
to.
days there was no social
Yeah,
media.
well, the social media you can still, pinch here and there, and but both myself and him, we're not people that want to come in front of the cameras and speak and talk to media. Till this day, I don't even communicate. I don't talk to media. It's not for nothing. It's just that kind of shy kind of a person that's growing up. So we decided debating what name we should put for Liberty, and I said, no, you know what, Sly? Remember where you used to work at in New York? He was a travel and tour. It was the name of his office is Liberty Travel and Tour. So I said, let's use Liberty FC. I think it will make a lot of sense. So he said, no. Sly said, no. It should be our name. We should leave a legacy behind. I said, no, Sly, let's use Liberty. Then I said, okay, at the time it was right here, right around this corner, circular area where my mom and dad was living at the time. So I said, let's go inside and see and talk to my mother. So both me and Sly walked to the room and asked my mom, and my mom said, well, all along you've been going to Chief Imam, right? Why don't you go to the old man and ask him what name you should use? So we said, oh my God, my mother again. She said, go to the old man. And who that old man was? The great and humble National Chief Imam of Ghana. So we went to him. And then we came across this, because he has been going back and forth with us.
Yeah.
So we decided to go and see him and talk to him about the situation. And immediately we raised the issue of, he said, you guys, remember? I'll tell you something. And he gave us a brief story of how we should go about everything. So he said, remember, we have to go back to Kofredua. There was one humble man there. He's late today as we speak. May his humble soul rest in peace. His name is Malam Amma at Kofredua. He's a great man. He introduced us more into the football and told us, myself and Sly, he said to raise our hands. We raised our hands and he prayed for us. And he said, your team will have to be the name that you want. Whatever you agree on, and Chief Imam said, that's what you do. He said, it's going to be one of the best maybe ever. We said, what? Sly. I look at Sly, look at me. We didn't argue. We said, okay. And so the old man at Kofredua, great Mala Amma, he is deceased. So much respect. He said, go back to Chief Imam. So we came back to Chief Imam on that same day, not any other day, on the same day. So we came back to Chief Imam, and the rest is history. And then the Chief Imam said, okay, the name should be Liberty Professionals. And there we came about Liberty Professionals. So Sly took it on.
At what point did Felix Anson come into the picture? Because many stories have been told about Felix Anson also being one of the founding fathers of the club. At what point did he come into the picture?
Felix Anson, we call him Dada Anson.
Yes.
Dada Anson came into this picture. I remember one day I was home, Sly called me, he wanted some money, some cash, about 100 million. That was old currency.
Yeah, those days.
Yes, that was those days. So today we say 10,000 Ghana cedis. Sly was looking for an office. Nowhere to find an office. He found his friend. That's Felix Anson. So Felix Anson has his older brother that has stores alongside Dansoman Roundabout, along that road. So Felix Anson took Sly there. He found him a store, basically directly side opposite that filling at Dansoman Roundabout. So he was able to get that place for him, and the rest he gave Sly. That time, 100 million Ghana cedis to Sly. you know, just like for assistants. So it was that time. That time, the club was already Liberty. People were contemplating issues with that answer. If you have to talk about owners of Liberty, that answer should be the fifth owner. The first owner should be the great national chief imam, Malam Amma, late Alhaji Ibrahim Tete, and myself sitting here. I never mentioned this to anyone. I never say it. But these four people are the real owners of Liberty Professionals. You can add Anson. I wish one day Anson would come to me, approach me and say, this is the signed contract he has with Sly. Because every document that Sly has, I have copies of it. And just recently, I actually gave back all Sly's documents to his family. It's on my table right now. I can easily show them to you in front of their lawyer.
So do you have interest in Liberty Professionals? I
really don't have no interest. I really don't have interest. I have no meaning to have interest. My interest in Liberty is to make sure that Dada Anson, we call him Dada Anson, meaning Felix Anson, will have to only do one thing for me. Just do his own due diligence to take care of Sly's family. Don't leave them as if they have nothing in Liberty. And that's where I have issues with Dada Anson. If you can call Dada Anson right now and speak to me and let me ask him questions, or he can ask me questions, I'll be more than glad to give him a listening ear, and vice versa.
Have you been following Liberty Professionals?
Well, have I been
following the club?
Well, I've been following the club. I know where the club is right now.
No, as to
demotion, they demoted.
Okay, so let me put it in context.
Right.
Whether you've been one person who's been key or been heavily involved in the management of Liberty Professional. Since you're one of the founders,
yes.
you know the genesis of this club.
Right.
You definitely should have an interest in how the club first, because your brother is no longer alive,
right, and
his legacy needs to be protected. So as someone whose money brought Liberty to life, you should be interested in what happens to the club. Are you part of the management of Liberty Professionals? And do you have interest in managing Liberty Professionals?
Well, thank you for this. Let me just seize this opportunity to also say, I had actually a call from the family's lawyer. So about a week or so ago, I was able to meet the family lawyer and sat with him, and the discussions it will have to be on a different day, a time that we will come back again, and then you play the tape and you say, oh wow, I said I have visited the lawyer and they have come out with the same issue that you are just, making mention of. I will be waiting for them to have a signed sealed letter for me, and then I can take matters from there on into my own hands, as either that answer should be called the sole owner of the club and not late Alhaji Ibrahim Tete or myself.
Have you spoken to Dada Anson?
Well, I've called Dada Anson to this same place basically a few years ago to tell him, just few years, just about, maybe I'll say about 7 years ago, to say when Sly was alive, he purchased a property at Dodua, about 250 plots. So his name was also added into that document. So I said, look, I don't have the luxury to go around doing that, so you can come around and take the documents and go take care of this place. So he did that. But guess what Anson did? After giving him those copies of those documents to go, so because it's going to be encroaching, people will encroach the place. So the place was meant for a stadium for Liberty Professionals at Dodua. But since I did that, Guess what, Answer? Answer never even called me for once. After he has come to me and pick up the documents, he never called me for once to say, oh, Alhaji, Issah, this is in there. And then I was able to. But through friends, he said he has retrieved 75 of those properties. So basically, less than 50% in ratio, if you will. So, but he has not come to me directly like I have done to him to even tell me something. So even out of the 50%, let's just say approximately 50%, how much percentage are you giving to the family? Not me. I don't need anything. I'm blessed.
But have you called him since he left here?
Well, since he left here, we have spoken, but I will never say or raise anything in regards to that. As I expect him to do his due diligence and respect himself to even speak to me and tell me stories of that nature.
But it's also important that since you gave him the document, you follow up to tell, okay, I gave you a document. Right. I wanted you to go and check a certain place. Yeah. Did you check the place? Have you seen the property?
Well, I've seen the property. I was there.
No, so I'm saying that these are the questions you should be asking that are answered. Since he came to pick the document from you, and it is in your interest that the property of Alhaji Salai Tete is protected, you gave the document out to someone you feel was also close to Sly and can manage the properties of Sly in his absence. So if you gave the documents to him and he went away, you should have interest in following up to asking, oh, I gave you document A, B, C. Have you seen the place? Have you checked the place? Did you have that conversation with him?
No, we did not.
Why did you not do that?
Because, look, I'm the one that gave those documents to you. At the time, Chief Imam had handed over everything to me to support the family and bring everything. So I've called in the audit service people to audit everything for me. So I kept them in the hotel and they were doing the auditing. You understand? So I give him the benefit of the doubts. Like somebody looking, a little decent. So you expect him to do, his fair due. But yes, right now we are heading towards legal action.
On a hindsight.
So I cannot, I can't speculate.
On a hindsight, do you think you should have called him? So for instance.
I think so. I think I should have. Yeah. I should have called him and asked him. But this time around, yes, I will surely do that with documentations. Say, look, now I'm serving you, and we have to face each other. You have no choice. Are
you fighting him for the property of liberty?
Oh, no, I'm not fighting him. I have no interest in liberty. I have no interest. I'm just fighting for Sly Tete's children that he left behind for me. And I have to do my due diligence for them, on their behalf. I have no interest in Sly's any property. I don't need it. I don't want it. I've never, ever needed anything from him. I'm blessed. As you can see, I'm blessed myself. Why do I need to challenge somebody else with
Liberty Profession is one of the properties of Sly.
It's late Sly's property, yes. Yeah. Belongs to him.
So you should have an interest too, because his children definitely will have an interest.
Well, we see we see the way forward and see how best we can, interact with each other and see if there is a way forward to fixing liberty and get liberty back on track. Call SCN, Sule Ali Mutari, Asamoah, all those guys need to be called and see if we can find a better way of getting things back on track.
Do you feel the family of Alhaji Salai Tete has been sidelined by the man who is running his club?
I'm pretty sure that's the right answer, yes. Yes.
Is that what they have told you? Have they approached the man? Have they approached Dada Anson and spoken to Dada Anson? And tell them that you are running our father's property?
Well, from what I gathered from the lawyer, the family's lawyer, Dada Anson had come to him one time with his own lawyer to his office, meaning to the council's office, but to the council, basically. He came one day with the lawyer, went away, never showed back.
If the chief imam was heavily involved in the foundation of Liberty Professionals, have you spoken to the chief imam? Is he in the know of what is happening? has he spoken to Dada Ansong to let him understand that when I was here, two gentlemen came to me and said they were going to set up a football club called, and in fact, you said those days.
It was Ochima, it wasn't even.
You were yet to even get a name for it. So the chief imam also could be one person who could call Dada Ansong and say, look, when these two gentlemen started this thing, you were nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
So one of them is here. Let's have a conversation. You are now managing the property. Has that thing happened?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. But you can rest assured that I'm going to make it happen now. Things have to change.
When you say things have to change, is it everything?
Everything.
Including Liberty Professionals?
Including Liberty Professionals. Because that's what my late brother wanted to see. He just wanted to leave a legacy. And if there's any leaving behind a legacy than what late Alhaji Ibrahim Slaitete has done, I don't think there's ever any football player, ever from Ghana to ever did what late Alhaji Ibrahim Slaitete has done in the history of the country. Nobody.
Talk to me about the model of Liberty Professional. What influenced the choice of players that Liberty Professionals went for? If you take a look at the history of books of Ghana football, Michael Essien, Suleiman Tari, Asamoah Jan, Kojo Asamoah, Derek Boateng. One point, though Joseph Pencil started, that's a Joseph Pencil, John Pencil. From Brekum Arsenal, he also had a stint with Liberty Professionals and all that. But tell me about what influenced the choice of players that you went for? And in fact, got a point, even the brand Liberty was extended beyond the shores of Ghana. I know there was one planning in Sierra Leone and even Togo
and Benin,
and Benin as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been there. I was there. I drove with Sly to introduce me to those stadiums, which after his passing, I have not stepped foot there because there's that notion of stepping into other people's toe, meaning going to other people's countries and trying to take over their wealth. And it's very difficult to kind of, deal with those people. So yes, I've been there. He had taken me all those places, but you have just mentioned few players. I'll give you a brief note of some of these players, which you all know where Suleiman Tari came from, Kumasi. Was it Coniston?
Yeah.
It was
King Faisal. Yeah, Orkes and all that.
Yeah, so before we got Suleiman Tari, Sule didn't even know this. His late father was the one that we went to Kofredia. His late father, actually, meaning Suleiman Tari's late father, was the one that we met and talked about Sule. He was before then, he was, I think, living, he resides at Nigeria. So when he came down to stay, in Ghana, that's where he was from, Kofredia. So myself and Sly drove from Accra to Kofredia to interact with him. And the rest, just became just history. So I was the one that actually gave Sule Ali Mutari's father. Sule didn't even know this. That time, Sule was young. He was only 16 years old. So he has to be accompanied by a parent. So I gave Sule Mutari's father the ticket to travel with his son to his first contract. You see? So when you look at Michael Essien, when we picked him out from Kaneshi, when his friends and managers was bringing him to Accra, when we met him at Kaneshi. Yeah, the rest is just history. So we picked him up and brought him to Liberty. And Sly just wanted me to be a part of it. So we did that for Michael Essien. And today, that's the Michael Essien that you all can see and know and hear.
I need to understand that, in fact, Michael Essien, he went to Bastia for free.
He went to Bastia for free? Who said that? There was no such a thing as free. We don't want to go into contract history. There was a situation with Michael Essien where late Sly Tete get pissed off with Michael Essien. I'm serious about this. And it's just concerning, basically regarding a 200,000 euro contract or some money left that Sly didn't give. And actually at the time, because everything that Sly does, he informed me with everything, everything. So the money just delayed, and Michael Essien thought the money has come. It was 200,000. So he thought the money has come, and Sly had kept it until the transfer came. Those times it was transfers. So when the tellers came through, Sly sent me and said, look, your guy's money came. That was Essien. Essien, I never interact with Essien. I'm somebody that's always on the shy side. So at the time that the money came, Sly called me and said immediately, Sly, call Michael Essien to come to your office and give him his fair share. And Sly did that. Soon as Essien came, now he's ashamed of himself, basically. And so he went back and used his head and promised Sly that he will contribute towards the big bus that Liberty were using till this day. Michael Essien has a share of that. Okay? He contributed money to late Sly Tete, and Sly Tete added the rest to purchase that vehicle that they're still using. That answer is still using it. Okay? Move on from that. Let's come to Asamoah Gyan.